Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Happy Tuesday, guys, November 19th. I think we're a little over a week away from Thanksgiving at this point, so we are coming into some nice, lovely holidays. But in the meantime, you are stuck with us, hopefully in a good way. I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Max, Louis, and Unbothered Chef Jackus. Oh, it's Louis Tuesday today. I have to make sure that distinction.
It's a holiday, Tommy, for those that celebrate. It's a holiday.
It is Louis Tuesday for those who celebrate, guys. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to address the question currently in the title. Before I even ask you a question, though, I have to make a joke out of the barbell that seems to be the source of market strength right now, which is Bitcoin and dog coins. Bitcoin green, while the rest of the altcoin market is a shade of deep red, with the exception of three dog coins: Bonk, Whiff, and Doge. So the bankers are bidding Bitcoin and the bankers are bidding our puppy dog coins. But before we can kind of talk about what that means, why we're seeing what we're seeing today, and of course, like I said, address the question under or above. I'm not sure. Through the YouTube stream, it's probably under the video. But you guys know what I'm going to ask you. You absolutely crushed the like button yesterday. We broke records. It was never before seen. Never before seen like button smashing yesterday. I think we hit almost 600 live. No, we almost hit 700 live on stream. I can't believe that we did that. So a huge shout out to you all, the audience. I would love an encore today if we can. But yeah, we're gonna have a great show nonetheless. Let's start addressing some of these questions. It's kind of like I highlighted, though. I mean, right now we're seeing very much a duality between assets in the crypto market. You have obviously assets that are strong and assets that are weak, and a majority of the assets that are weak are altcoins that obviously trended a lot harder. Maybe a week or two ago, they're kind of coming back down to earth right now, but we're seeing this persistent bid on Bitcoin, which I would say is quite encouraging, honestly, given that you are seeing a little bit of weakness in the equity markets right now. You're seeing we discussed it last week, a bit of a bounce on equity volatility. Is it a dead count or is it a dead cat? Is it a little bit more than that? I guess we can kind of continue to feel that out. It is the quote unquote window of weakness in equity markets before a very positive time of year that we're headed into. So I tend to think this is a buy the dip opportunity for equity markets. I think the question is, in the meantime, before we get to December, what is Bitcoin capable of? Is it just going to rip straight up? Which, I mean, based on the strength that it's showing today, it could just rip straight up. It does not have to pull back to 85K. Or do we see Bitcoin maybe catch up a little bit to some of these altcoins selling off a little bit, maybe trade back towards that 85, 86K level, continue to build value in last week's range before we get that huge thrust above 100K? But I do think that it's coming. I think it's a matter of how and when we get there, not if. At this point, right? We've broken out of the range. Bitcoin is catching a majority of the bid. These are all hugely positive signs for crypto continuing higher as a whole. Might just have some temporary headwinds at the moment as Bitcoin continues to churn through supply, of course, but also I think it's more so what's happening in equity markets right now specifically. And I think the S&P just flipped green, actually. So that will be something to pay attention to this week. But enough yapping for me, guys. I'd love to know y'all's thoughts on the question. Is an 85K Bitcoin on the table before higher? And I think the second question I would ask is, does it even matter? Because I mean, maybe I don't ask that question because it probably doesn't matter. But is an 85K Bitcoin on the table? And if so, what does that look like? And if not, what does that look like, right? But what are you guys thinking based on this current market profile of Bitcoin and dog coins really siphoning the liquidity out of the market while the rest of alts bleed?
I feel like this is probably the final Bitcoin dominance push up that we're about to see right now, and kind of the final stab lower on ETH BTC. If we kind of zoom in here, well, I mean, this is ETH BTC that we're looking at right here. ETH BTC and Bitcoin dominance are more or less the same chart, just kind of flipped. Okay. So as soon as you see ETH BTC bottom, definitively you'll see Bitcoin dominance top. But if you look at the zone that we're in right now, this blue region, this has been the most important pivot region on the entire chart for the existence of the ETH BTC pair. Now, if we zoom in closely, this is the weekly time frame. You can see that this entire region was a kind of parabolic, inefficient move up last cycle. The horizontal line I have drawn right here is the very base of it on the weekly time frame. You could maybe try to make the argument it's right here. I would say, just to be conservative, it's going to be right here. I don't know if we tag that line, but I know that if we do, it's kind of a must hold. I mean, we've been saying ETH BTC must hold for a long time now, but I think what you're seeing right now is kind of that final drop where like Bitcoin looks pretty damn good here. I find it hard to imagine that personally that Bitcoin would dip to like 85, just kind of given the structure of it. Like it really feels like it's in vertical accumulation right now. It's possible, I guess, but I feel like we're doing this we've seen this before where you just kind of like, you slowly kind of curl up and all the traders want, just give me some lows to sweep, right? Like all the traders, they just want to take out some lows and they just don't get it. And for me, it feels very similar to this right over here in last October, November, actually, funny enough, where it was that same kind of vertical accumulation that we saw. All the traders, and for good reason, wanted some lows to get swept, and they just never got swept, right? So it feels like this, or at least an attempt to be this. It won't be exactly like that, but all I can tell you is that if Bitcoin did sneeze down to, 84, I mean, altcoins would hate that. They would hate that a lot. But this kind of feels more like vertical accumulation to me. And if I flip the chart this way, I'm not really getting, imminent breakout vibes from this chart right here. If you look at it flipped, this chart to me from here doesn't look like it's about to do this. That would be kind of weird. To me, if anything, it feels like it would do this, and then maybe, if you were going to go down, then it would make more sense. But I feel like you'd have to run the high first if you're going to run the low. Personally, right? I'm happy to be wrong on that, but this structure to me doesn't feel like it's about to imminently break up. So to me, it feels like it's going to break out. And if it is going to go down, it's going to be after higher. But I don't know. I mean, I wonder if Bitcoin just stays strong here and kind of the pullback and flush that and reset that we were looking for doesn't come in the form of a Bitcoin correction, but a Bitcoin, I guess, like chop session and then altcoins bleeding. That's kind of where I think we're at right now is Bitcoin's getting ready for another push up, chop, 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 chop. Altcoins are like, well, let's drop. And then Bitcoin's going to pop and altcoins are going to recover pretty quickly. So those are kind of my feelings about this. I don't know how you guys feel, but.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to have a drop to 85K.
You don't think we have to? You were just a second. But also no one said anything. No, yeah. Oh, wait, now you're lagging. Shoot.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Louis.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that we have to drop to 85K. I will say I wasn't really expecting the altcoin weakness.
Jackus hasn't talked yet. What are you talking about? He hasn't said a word the whole show. What are you talking about?
STFU.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking. Has Jackus even said anything on the show yet?
I like that he called them Jackies.
Jackies.
I don't know what bro is waffling about.
Imagine coming on another man's stream and telling him to STFU.
Dude.
Disrespectful.
It's crazy, man. A little altcoin correction and everybody's on edge.
Yeah,
honestly. But I'll be honest, like I wasn't expecting alts to be this weak to start the week. So maybe Bitcoin does not have to correct, and that correction that we're seeing per se is just being seen in altcoin markets. But Going into the week, my plan was kind of that we would see Bitcoin trade into 85 and then probably continue ranging, break higher probably like the final week of November. So maybe we still see that. I think it's somewhat dependent on what equity markets are going to do. So if equities want to keep bleeding, then I think you could see the move on Bitcoin. Otherwise, I mean, if equities are going to go make a higher high, I can tell you probably what Bitcoin's about to do.
Yeah, it seems like Bitcoin just been slowly chopping higher, which was a scenario for me. Whether it was either A, we were going to run the lows back, last, at least on Friday or over the weekend, or if we didn't get that sweep right away, my next option was like, okay, we're probably just going to continue to bull chop higher, and it seems like it's just waiting on equities right now at this point, where we have seen equities pull back over the last couple days, or last week at least. It seems, I was looking at it this morning, it seems like a lot of them are coming into some local support. And if equities do decide to turn around and start to push higher here with the DXY, looking like it's likely going to be topped as well. So I'm kind of putting this together as like, this is kind of the scenario where, first of all, DXY, massive rally off the lows, basically went from range lows to range highs, peeked its head back above range highs once again, and we did sweep this local high here, and I think we saw something similar last cycle, right? Was that here? Yeah. So basically DXY dipped, went on a monster rally, basically ran the most, local high, catching all the dollar bears off guard, and then it entered, a long, at least a year long or year and a half long bear market, which is exactly what I think we're seeing right now, where obviously I did expect the DXY to top out a little sooner. I know Jackus was calling for a move, something like this. I think he's mentioned 107, which we have not tagged yet. So maybe he's expecting we run this high as well. But the fact that we ran this high, the fact that we got a nice, 3-day, candle wick to the upside, I think this is a logical spot for the DXY to start to either cool off locally or start that, year to year and a half long bear market where we do come, sub 100, in my opinion. So, you have that on the DXY. I mentioned equities. S&P flipping green on the day. We are, pulling back over the last couple trading days. We are now, back to support. We are at market structure, starting to see a push off that market structure. So that's a great sign. And we've been kind of just methodically just stair stepping, right? So to expect it to do it again, it is the most likely scenario, in my opinion, until we're proven otherwise. So S&P at support. You have the Dow looking to balance that support, and a nice bottom wick on the daily so far, coming into your next local high. NASDAQ, same thing, just flipped green on the day, coming into market structure. So with that being the backdrop, DXY looking ready to roll over. All the while, Bitcoin has not given up any ground. I think this, can ultimately lead to a Bitcoin breakout to the upside and continuation, like Max talked about, just bull chop and slowly curling up, not giving anyone any entries, while at the same time crushing shorters trying to catch a top here. Because there's a lot of people waiting for pullbacks. A lot of people were caught off guard, as per usual, as it comes to Bitcoin. And a lot of people are waiting for this. Like Max said, at least a couple of these local lows ran. As far as I'm concerned, if we did get a local low run, I think we'd come all the way down into his 85K area that Tommy's talking about. We have liquidity here. You run all these local lows. I guarantee there's a ton of stop losses set at each one of these highs, each one of these lows, but we don't have to do that. And with the backdrop I'm seeing today, if we get a close like what I'm seeing today, I think Bitcoin can break this to the upside, and we see another impulse higher, similar to what we saw back here. Max just showed this example, but let me just show you again here. We broke out of this range, and I still have drawings here, right? We broke out of this range. I remember this so clearly, right? We got this break of this massive range. Everyone was so impatient here. Got caught off guard. Didn't think we were going to break higher out of this range. We had our first impulse to the upside, break out of the range, and we just never came back down here. People were calling for, oh, give me a retest of the range highs, right? They wanted the retest of the range highs. Then as we started chopping, they wanted us to at least run some lows, and we just
Hey,
never.
Louis, real quick, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Add others below that chart. Can you remind us what others was doing at that point? New pane below. Yeah. Were we grinding higher during that? You might have to put it in log mode or something. And then like drag it up a little bit.
Okay.
So while Bitcoin was kind of doing that vertical accumulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks
Yeah,
like
so we were
altcoins are like right there where they're like
Right,
kind of
exactly, yeah.
top consolidating, but then they're like, oh shit, Bitcoin's vertically accumulating.
Yeah.
And then they
so
kind of sent.
Yep, exactly. So as we were doing this slow grind, bull chop higher, like we're seeing right now, others was grinding higher as well, right? You had a little consolidation here, likely kind of what we just saw over the last couple of days, right? You had a little consolidation in this little range here, and then we kept going. But what I was trying to show was got that impulse, bull chop, bull chop, bull chop for multiple days, right? This was December 1st. It started on, so this was a month's worth of price action, right? So we can continue doing this for much longer. But, once we did that, then, we got a second impulse higher, which no one expected. Everyone thought, oh, we have to come back down. So this is exactly kind of what we're expecting here right now, is just see something similar to that. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, leaving people sidelined. Having people who got into alts late kind of panic sell or are now underwater, right? And Bitcoin literally hasn't done much of anything, right? So we are experiencing that pullback in alts without Bitcoin giving up any ground. So, I mean, right now, this looks pretty bullish on the lower time frame.
I think we're going to do exactly what we did last November.
Yeah.
And I think the big difference that we're about to see is that contextually where we're at within this cycle, I think you're going to get one of the most hated ETH rallies. Until that happens, I'm going to cope and I'm going to be angry and I'm going to whine and complain about it. But it appears that this cycle so far is really not that materially different than previous ones. Tommy, any thoughts on ETH? Because hang on, let me frame this a little bit. Tommy has been the most vocal on the BB team about his feelings on Ethereum. And to be fair, he's been correct, okay? ETH has been a pile of steaming dog poop. Tommy has been correct on that. He's like the Norman Rockwell guy where everybody's been like, oh, no, ETH is going to do great. And Tommy's been like, no, it's fucked. It's over for like 6 months, okay? And he's been right. He's been standing alone, the brave soldier, fighting ETH alone. All the heat, but he's been right. However, Tommy issued a tweet yesterday. Okay. Tommy issued a tweet, and I thought that Tommy maybe got hacked because I didn't believe my eyes. It seemed as though Tommy was trying to hint that ETH actually might be very bullish here. Tommy, did you get
that? Yeah. No, I think that we're, many before me have died trying to call like the ETH. I don't know if it'll be like an ETH Bitcoin bottom, but I do think that we're getting pretty close to that period of time where you're going to see that ETH finally start to outperform. And I have, like Max said, I've been very vocal about the fact that like ETH Bitcoin is going lower. ETH is a piece of shit. Like all of these things, I think have been very true up until this point. I think it's an inflection point. You have Bitcoin aggressively entering price discovery. And if you study previous cycles, and I have teammates that have been highlighting it on Market Check for you guys for months at this point, when we start to see that rotation out of Bitcoin dominance and into altcoins. But yeah, I think we're finally close from a timing perspective. Realistically, Bitcoin dominance probably going to give another big leg higher. I think when that is completed, you're going to start to see a larger bid switch over to altcoins from Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not saying Bitcoin's not going to get bid. Don't get me wrong, but I think you're going to see stuff like ETH begin to pump a lot more. I I don't really think that under the hood ETH looks as bad as you might think, given the structure of where it is. I know ETH Bitcoin is down 5%, but I was looking at some of the data here over the course of the last week. I think it looks healthy. You know, as long as you're trading above that trading range from like the last 2 or 3 months, you have built up shorts and hedges that have not yet closed. I imagine there's probably still some decent selling pressure on ETH until we break above those highs from late July. But I think that the repricing on ETH is going to be very quick. I think people are very much under the assumption that Bitcoin will pump. I will have plenty of time to rotate into ETH. But I think by the time that Bitcoin pumps, the repricing will probably be underway, at least from these levels. So I tend to think around these prices, if you are not exposed, I mean, obviously we have a lot of exposure to ETH beta, through BB proxies, but ETH itself, I think if you are trading majors, will probably present a pretty amazing long in the near future. It's just, is it going to be from a slow grind higher with ETH Bitcoin continuing to get crushed while Bitcoin runs? Or is it going to be maybe from a little bit lower after Bitcoin dumps a little bit? But I do think that we're very close to ETH finally outperforming. I think part of that too is, somebody made a comment in my mentions yesterday. Max, I don't know if you saw it, but it was basically saying crypto bros have had it wrong the entire cycle. Like, why are you betting on ETH to outperform Bitcoin when the trade all cycle has been buy MicroStrategy? Or, we've been discussing this very concept. Oh my God, sorry.
Trade alert.
But, we talk about MicroStrategy being the premier Bitcoin beta of the cycle. You know what else has been? It's Solana. Those charts look exactly the same. But I think we finally reached a point where you start to see Bitcoin decouple a bit from MicroStrategy and start to outperform it. I think MicroStrategy goes higher from here, but I think the risk reward of holding Bitcoin is becoming a lot better than MicroStrategy, because eventually that dilution is going to kick in on MSTR and you're going to get a lot more limited upside, or at the very least, the upside will look less parabolic and probably more like a slow grind up. Now, I think that's kind of like I feel like that's a good psychological inflection point when you think MSTR is done outperforming. I don't think that SOL is done outperforming, but I do think that MSTR could be done outperforming to finally see TradFi maybe start to recognize ETH a bit more. That's just kind of my thoughts right now. I think that you're probably pretty close to a rapid ETH repricing that will occur in under like 2 or 3 monthly candles.
So when you say rapid repricing in a few monthly candles, 2 or 3 monthly candles, that implies it's November 19th, December, January, February, rapid repricing.
I mean, that's my thought. And I know if Tucker were here right now, he'd be pointing out the ETH seasonality.
Of course he would be. We could also use the BB terminal to show the seasonality, because it's true. Q1 is typically ETH, and it's typically dominated by ETH. And Louis, when you had that chart inverted,
oh yeah,
that's like the BART of all BARTs. Right
my God!
I mean, that is the definition of a BART.
Like, right. Yeah, if you're looking at this, like, I know everyone's got heavy emotions on ETH. It's very clear that literally we had this nice move and like we had this little pullback and everyone's like the sentiment's already back to the shitter. It's crazy. But I mean, if you look at this inverted, like this looks like it's coming down here. Like this looks like a little dead cat bounce in a downtrend that just started. Right.
We're getting a lot of background noise from somebody. I don't know who that is.
So, whether this rolls over here or we take a stab into here, regardless, I mean, just looking at this chart objectively inverted, this looks cooked, in my opinion. This looks absolutely
it looks to me, Louis, like it's going to give a leg into like 4 to 5K ETH, and then it's gonna flag, and people are going to be expecting it to continue to underperform. And then it's going to start outperforming, and everybody's going to have to chase, and it's going to rapidly reprice higher. That's kind of how I'm viewing it.
Like, let's be real. I mean, everyone's complaining, but I mean, this was a nice move off the low, right? No one was complaining when everyone's alts were up, 2 to 3x. This is a 40% move off the low for
And
You know,
sorry, Lou, I took the screen from you. I can give it
that's
back.
okay.
I just wanted to show this real quick. This is on the BB terminal, guys. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this data before. But you can see, look at the average on the bottom, right? Typically, you're kind of like soft green, October, November, December, like Q4 is pretty good. But then January, February, March, like January's average ROI for ETH is 36%. February, 36%. March, 23%. April, 22%. May, 34% almost. I mean, it's really good, it's really good. Jack, as I'm putting you on mute, bro. We can hear a lot of noise from you. Yeah, it's unreal, guys. Like, this is, especially when you add the seasonality to what Louis was showing and Tommy was explaining. It's like we just had a major like failed breakdown and inverse BART to the upside, staring down the barrel of some of the best seasonal tailwinds that ETH has, cyclically speaking. So I just wanted to point this out real quick, but Louis, your chart's back up now.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. We're at that time of year where ETH comes alive, Bitcoin starts it off, and this chart is ultimately reliant on Bitcoin as well. So, like, if Bitcoin starts to curl up, like we just talked about, I mean, this is gonna just start to curl up too, right? I don't think there's a scenario where Bitcoin starts to crack, into the high 90s, maybe even 100K, and you see ETH start to trade lower, right? If we do get a sweep of the lows on Bitcoin, I mean, guess what? All we're doing is, after a massive move back into our macro range, is retesting, flipping it into support, and then going. And then when we're up here, maybe Q1 of next year, we're going to be looking back and laughing how we were all like freaking out about whether we pulled back.
Louis, we're gonna be up there in like a month, brother.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Big Hagrid, no camera for you again?
Yeah, I got my woman running around in the background again today.
Did you get a bad haircut? Tell us the truth.
Yeah.
No, I promise you.
Do you have a pimple?
Something's going on, man. There's something. I'm gonna uncover this, but something's going on, man. I
Something's going on.
don't
man.
believe his lies. There's something going on.
Oh boy, how we doing, boys?
We're doing great, man. Tommy's super bowled up on ETH, so that's really all that I needed to hear, honestly.
I know he's been texting me privately some wonderful things.
Tommy told me ETH to 70K. That's what he said. I'm not lying about that.
Whoa.
70K.
Whoa,
Just trust
whoa.
me. Yeah, sources, trust me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this could just be starting to curl up as well, Objectively, like I said this on the Discord call today, like, kind of looks like a bear flag, right? Right? Looks a little bearish. But, I mean, if Bitcoin starts to go here, there's nothing stopping ETH from just continuing to curl higher here and just head back to the upside, and continue to respect the lows, because we are making higher lows, technically.
So, Louis, what if you pulled up the ETH CME chart? Because that paints another picture as well. Okay. ETH 1 exclamation point. Because we're kind of holding that gap, which is unreal, right? I mean, that's good news so far, right?
Yeah,
I like that we're
we
trying to find
that
support right in there. I think that's really encouraging.
This looks nice. This is nice rounding out type of bottom. Came in, just ran this wick. This look actually looks good. I like this look. I like that a lot.
And it's the same chart if you looked at some of the ETH ETFs as well. It's the same kind of view. That's what the boomers see. So, like, if you were to type in ETH A and look at that, it's got a pretty similar look, right?
Yeah, this looks like just a little bull
and
flag.
I feel like most people are not taking into consideration these charts now, but there's new players that have entered the arena, and this is the chart that they see.
Yeah, I see flagging into support into this gap right here.
Yeah.
If I was pissed that I missed it here, I'd be bidding here. That's what they do. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
Yeah, they really don't care. They'll bid
And
that.
something that's really bullish too, Louis, is if you go to like the 4 hour on this chart, ETH, so move to the 4 hour. We still haven't put in any price action. We dumped right on the open. We have no price action above the opening tick, like the IPO price. I feel like all of this below that red line is going to be looked back on as like a giant bear trap, ultimately. And we'll come back and probably use it as support.
This is a crazy accumulation range down here. This was like, okay, G'd on the open, just accumulate, gap away, pull back into that first gap, and then just see you later. Yeah, no, I like this. This is definitely an interesting way to look at it.
Did you see equities went red to green today, boys?
Oh, yeah.
We love to see that.
Yep. And the dollar looks toppy here, too. So,
Not yet.
Jackus needs more. Oh, man.
So you want to run the other high?
He wants 108. I know he wants 108.
Listen, guys, so many times, each time we prolong it, and you guys get cheerful, and I see some low or high that needs to be taken, it only prolongs it. So better to be done with it already. I want DXY dumping just as you. But I think that, yes, that should get filled.
And
Not
then
filled,
2 years of down only
traded.
after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll take it. I mean, Bitcoin and cryptos have done well on this entire move, so I'm not.
You know what the best looking chart in the world is right now? MSTR. Chatting again, man. Chatting again.
Imagine making 10% yearly in stocks when you can make 120% in 35 days just as us on MSTR.
I mean, that's an incredible looking chart.
Yeah, I gotta zoom out here.
Put
It's
on
incredible.
the monthly.
There we go. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my goodness. Michael Saylor, the Giga Chad, man.
Look at that monthly candle.
That's a meat stick, isn't it, Louis?
If I've ever seen one, and I've seen a lot.
Wow.
And I've seen a lot. Oh,
Don't put that.
no.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's
Wow,
absolutely
man.
insane. This guy's just addicted to buying Bitcoin at this point. I saw he took out
Literally
more
looks like a
debt.
meme coin chart.
He just raised more debt just to buy more Bitcoin.
And I will repeat that the institutions were buying MSTR at the 2022 lows and increasing their size by 30,000%.
Yeah, that's how the game is played.
There will be a large distribution likely on MSTR.
Yes. I think it'll look like a slow grind higher, and then I think it'll just whoosh.
Nuke.
Someday.
Whoosh.
We don't know when, but
It will be that meme, whoosh, and now we are underwater.
Have
Well,
you
I
seen
mean-
that? Have you seen those TikToks? He's a TikToker and he's like a blue collar guy and he always makes fun of like blue collar guys and driving like spending way too much money on like turbo diesel trucks. And he's like, "Oh man, like I make $3,000 a month and my truck payment is like $2,200. Man, when I pull up to the job site and everybody hears my diesel truck, you guys seen that or no?
No.
No.
So funny. That was the
Only
noise. Someone in the comments will know what I'm talking about. It's so funny, man.
I mean,
What do you mean could MSTR be front-running Bitcoin? MSTR is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's been following MSTR, if anything. So if that's
That
what he
is
means,
true because
then
we
yes.
were coping when MSTR initially broke out, and we're like, I can't believe
Yeah.
Bitcoin hasn't broken out. MSTR is just ripping.
And then a couple weeks later, let's pull up Bitcoin too.
We'll see how long it lasts, but yeah, at this point.
MSTR is Bitcoin. People do not get that. Like it's a perpetuum mobile right now. Institutions buy MSTR. MSTR issues more debt. Institutions buy more MSTR, and then Sailor goes and buys Bitcoin. So Bitcoin goes up, makes everyone money, and therefore MSTR goes up.
Is it the most incredible Ponzi of all time?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the largest Ponzi for Wall Street and TradFi.
It's giving TradFi access to Luna, basically.
They were like, you guys think you can do Ponzi's? We have been doing that for 100 years.
You want to see a Ponzi? That's cute. Watch
Have
this.
you guys seen Red Dawn?
No.
You haven't seen Red Dawn?
Of course.
I know Tucker has. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a American classic.
Oh my
I remember
God,
this
Max.
I forget. I think his name is Robert in the movie, but it's like all that hate's gonna burn you up, son. He's like keeps me warm. That's how I envision Michael Saylor. Like all that debt's gonna burn you up, son. Keeps me warm.
So
Man, we gotta watch some Red Dawn next time we're together. Then
Yeah, we do.
Okay. We'll do it. Is it possible that Bitcoin is basically in like literally just November of 2020 right now?
Yes, it is. That's literally where
I'm
we
just
are.
looking at the chart and it's hard not to see that.
We're exactly
would-
where we were 4 years ago. That's.
I
That's
would
it.
rather say, like, I do not like the comparison with 2020, and people use it a lot. I think 2020 was a weird printing cycle. I would rather say that we are at like, May 2017.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too, Jackus. I like that.
Yeah.
it was doggy. Doge leading also a good sign. Doge let off the lows. Doge looking to go for another leg here. At least so far on the day.
dog coins showing a lot of strength today. We talked a lot about Bitcoin. I'd love to talk about the dog coins that are all kind of chatting today, specifically Doge and Bonk.
Yeah, what's the deal with Bonk, man? I don't get it.
Normies love Bonk. That's pretty much the thesis.
Okay.
Unit cost, new dog coin. It's basically SHIB all over again. Like, why did normies buy SHIB? It was a terrible meme. Well, it's a dog with a low unit cost bias. They hold millions of it. They think they're going to get rich.
The normie mind cannot and will not ever comprehend what market cap is.
No,
ever.
never.
No
They
idea.
can't wrap their head around market cap.
No idea.
I saw some really funny after Coinbase went live on Robinhood and Coinbase. There were guys being like, if you put in like $400 right now, you'll get like this many million Pepe. And if it goes to $1, you'll get like $4.5 million or something. And it would have been like a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. And I was just like, they'll never learn. They just can't understand what market cap is.
That's the exit liquidity right there.
Bullish.
Yes. It is bullish.
I just got an alert that said Coinbase to launch Magic Eden pre-launch markets on Coinbase International Exchange.
I hope that it doesn't do well because they did not give me an airdrop.
Magic Eden, I know.
Even though I spent a lot on Magic Eden, man, that really pissed me off.
Flood everybody's bags.
Exactly.
If you're not in it. Yeah. If I'm not in it or I sold too early, FUD it. That's the recipe.
I absolutely love this one. Like, I love these examples of how normies think, because like after a while you just get to your eco bubble thinking of the industry, but the normie mind just thinks differently, and this is how they think. And lots of times I say this, right? Like, people look at Bitcoin, they will say it's too expensive. And you know that you can just divide it or you can buy fraction of it. So it doesn't matter. It's all about the percentages. But normie mind never think like that. They will look at it and they'll be like, okay, so I can buy Bitcoin for 100K, or I can buy this one for a few cents. And just as Max said, and if it goes to dollar, I'll be a millionaire.
Yeah. The normie mind cannot fathom market cap.
And you know how bullish I am on XRP, but there are people who will be like, but if XRP goes to Bitcoin price, that means XRP to 60 to 90,000. That's not how it works. But they truly do think that way. So lots to learn about that.
The normie mind can only comprehend having a lot of a token.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Doge looks ready for another leg.
Do we think that's going to be a problem for WIF, or will it not really matter? Because WIF's already multiple
I do
dollars.
Be a problem for WIF. Yeah, I think it's a problem for WIF and PopCap. Not to the point where they won't perform, but I think that things like MOG will MOG PopCat, and probably MOG WIF, and Bonk will MOG WIF.
Mm-hmm.
Bonk will mog. I'm trying to understand.
That's some that's some brain rot commenting, man.
I know. I'm sorry. It had to be done.
What is this? ETH price prediction correlate to FTM Sonic merge. It's a lot of words that I don't understand.
ETH correlates to FTM Sonic merge.
I don't.
Is that what he said?
Here's what he said. You interpret how you will.
Oh, I don't think they're correlated. If FTM, I would assume though, if FTM is launching announcements, nobody is better at pumping prices for exit liquidity than Andre. So he usually times it pretty well with ETH.
Yeah, that's fair. What was his last thing? Was it Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had YFI. He had FTM. I mean, his whole thing with FTM though is basically. We're not going to get into it, but I'm not a huge Andre fan.
Dude, okay, here's a great example of the normie mind. So I have a buddy who bought Wi-Fi in 2021 or something, and he's still holding it. Complete normie. And I was like, he was like, what should I do? Like, should I like, I'm probably just going to hold it. And I was like, no, you need to buy other stuff. And he was like, yeah, but if it goes back to all-time highs, and I'm like, God damn it, that is not how you should think about these things. But like, that's how they think about it. They're like, well, if it goes back here, then I'll have this. And it's like, no, dude, that chart is fried.
I think a lot of people are overly focused on buying floored charts right now. Who knows when they're going to get bid? Eventually they'll get bid, but like there's clearly an appetite for certain assets in the market, and they've already moved off the low. They've had 2.5 months to move off the low. So if an asset hasn't yet, I think you need to kind of ask like, okay, what is it going to take for this asset to move? And is that time period here, or is it like a few months down the line? But that's just me.
There's a ticker Tucker. That's Peanut's dog. Jesus Christ.
Ticker Tucker.
Yeah. Interesting.
Should we just call you now Mr. Ticker? The big ticker?
Yeah.
The big tick in the room.
Yes.
Big ticker.
He identifies as anonymous now.
Yeah. Oh man. I was looking at Pepe earlier and I was scared it was gonna bark a little bit.
It looks like it, but not if Bitcoin pops here. A lot of alts look like that. And I think if Bitcoin pops, a lot of people are going to sell the lows on their alts and they bounce back with with force.
You're just getting these bull flags on all these altcoins, basically.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for the next East leg up to.
Aren't we all, Jackus?
We are. Like, everybody hates East, but everyone needs East to move up, basically. It is what it is. Listen, I think, and I said this again multiple times, I think the real fun comes when East starts breaking 4K. And therefore, I still think you are early. Above 4K, you are no longer early. You're definitely not early on BTC, but on lots of alts, you still relatively are. And I think it comes with the break of 3.5K. Like, at above 3.5K, you basically flip the ETH ETF launch, you flip the weekly market structure, and it just simply leads to 4K. So you're very close now, very, very close. But until then,
What do you think about Andy here, Louis?
Did someone say Andy?
Did somebody say Andy?
Someone say Andy? What was that? I'm like, you guys
just-
got any Andy analysis? Huh?
bro, that was like I always picture Max at the wedding, and someone is like, Andy, and then he puts his head out of the bush, and he's like, someone said Andy.
I mean, you don't have to picture it. You could just ask Tucker for an eyewitness account.
Yeah, this is true.
It's
That
real,
did happen.
man. I always say, I mean, thankfully, Tommy married an incredible woman, and he's a great guy. So there's not going to be a second wedding. But if there was, I'd be a big question mark on getting the invite. I mean, I was close to ruining a wedding with my Andy pushing, and I'm proud of it. I regret nothing.
I think it looks good here.
Mr. Jackus is always welcome to pull up here. Oh,
We did yesterday. Nice
Yeah,
coupon
Jack is
and
good
Derino from Mr. Baccarino.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, clear
Tommy,
resistance.
Tommy, I need you to pull up a SMCI chart and let me know if you are bullish now or if you still need more pump.
Oh, don't worry,
convince you.
Jackus. I'm
He
not
needs
about
more
to buy
pump.
any SMCI until it's sub $10.
You'll be waiting for a long time. Do you know that Titanic lady? It's been 84 years.
No, I was expecting a bounce fairly soon out of SMCI, but it has given a great move off the low. I'll give you that, Jackus. If it runs from here, I'll be happy for you guys because I probably wasn't ever going to buy it anyway. But
No, you weren't. You were never gonna buy it.
I was just kind of
Look at-
thinking around with some fibs. I want to show you guys something. So we were talking about like where we could be within the cycle, and Jackus said May 2017,
Mhm.
which is basically like this leg up right in here.
Yeah.
And I just found like the 1.25 fib, we break it, retest it, and then go. Last
very good.
cycle, break it, retest it, go. I wonder if we'll do the same thing again where, we pop up to, 120 or something, retest the 1.25 and then go just like the previous two cycles.
Max.
Where is it exactly?
Max, wait, Tucker. Do you see that little period of ranging of the past like 7 days on BTC right now? Can you zoom
Yeah.
in?
Yeah.
Zoom in a little bit. And now go to the May 2017.
Here, actually, I got something that you'll like, Jack. I'm gonna put them side by side. Hang
Yeah.
on. Let's zoom in a little bit. We'll go to like the 12-hour.
Guys, I swear that like the theme of investing, was like of the old school was like the value investing of Buffett, Benjamin Graham and so forth of the past era. But the future will belong to TA specialists. None of the old guys ever uses TA. They are just like, is the asset undervalued or overvalued? And they look for different metrics and they just randomly buy. The next generation is all about TA, and they will look at, well, hopefully us in the future and be like, this, they were the fathers of TA. Like they made value TA investing.
Jackus was the father of TA.
Do you think that makes markets more or less efficient?
Wait, what did you say, Tommy?
Do we think that ends up making markets more or less efficient?
More efficient, obviously.
Does that take opportunity out of the market? Or does it just mean that you have to approach it differently to make money?
We look at the charts, they've been present for hundreds of years and they still play out the same. So it's just, TA is nothing more than visual representation of human psychology, and that's why it works. And, in 50 years, there will likely be new people being born with the same type of psychology, and they will be the same apes as we are.
They'll never be like us. They wouldn't understand.
They wouldn't get it.
Here you go, Jack. This is
wouldn't
what
get
you were
it.
looking for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And here I can even add on.
Pain trade is higher. Literally. Pain trade is higher. I know it's kind of like a meme, but like it's true.
Clearly, for these altcoins, it is.
Yeah.
For Bitcoin to go higher first. But I mean, if Bitcoin's going higher, then altcoins will inevitably do the same. I just had to make a joke.
The guy RS 1996 didn't get it at all. I do not think I'm new Buffett because of TA. I said that like the theme of the past was value investing, and I think the theme of the future is TA investing because it adds so much more. It adds an entirely new layer to efficiency of how trading the markets, and just the class of the past doesn't use it, and they are robbing themselves.
What you got here, Max?
Just cooking up something for you guys.
But obviously, the normie mind cannot comprehend something happening 30 years from now or something.
No.
Are you kidding, Jackus? You think I'm focused on 30 years out while I'm gambling my net worth on
1 minute chart?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Right here. I feel like this will play.
This is so true.
Yes.
Nothing gets the normie more excited about paying 3 times as much for their crypto assets as people who hung out in the bear market.
They will happily buy higher.
They
They're
love
on
buying high, man.
activation.
They love buying high,
They'll
hitting a
be
2x.
super
in their
happy
round
about
trip.
it, super bullish, buying higher.
Dude, they love it. It's not even a joke. Like, they just genuinely love it, man. They love to just like download Coinbase when Bitcoin's in price discovery.
Yeah.
And just ape. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just so predictable. That's what it is.
Everyone was a normie at one point.
It's true.
Yeah.
I always say it's the invitation price everyone must pay when entering this game. It's like when you enter a club, you pay, a fee to be there. Well, you need to just buy the cycle top in your first entry of the game.
I just show up with a bunch of ladies, and then I don't have to pay cover.
No, you need to sell the bottom, Jackus. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's the.
That's what. That's the real. Yeah.
Do you know what's that?
Huh.
Big ticker. That's when you get so drunk and you throw up the barman, and then they they send you out of the bar.
Yeah.
You know, covered in your puke. They let you out, and then you have to sober up, and next week you can try again better.
This sounds like coming from experience, Jackus.
Nah. Did you think that?
Never Jackets. No. Shouldn't be
Unfortunately,
Jackets.
something like that has never happened to me.
Yeah. Same.
I feel like this is gonna play, guys. I really do.
Okay, wait. So what is that like right at 100K max? It looks like that 125.
This is at 100K. So overshooting it would be like 115, and then retest 100K. Maybe dip back below. Imagine we go to like 115, 120, and then go back to like 96. People would be in shambles.
Well, Max, what was the percentage overshoot on the last two?
I'm happy you asked.
That's what I'm here for. To ask the tough questions.
35.
35. That's like a. That's big. Okay, so
So let's just say 25.
yeah,
Right.
call it 25.
Call it
That's
25
125 then, huh?
ish.
Yeah, 125. Send it. What's our timeline here, though, boys? What is our timeline? End of year?
So Tommy thinks, man. I'm just gonna side with Tommy.
I mean, look, if we're siding more with the 2020 cycle, I think it'll be sooner. If it's more like 2017, it could take us a little bit longer before we get that breakout. But I will say, if we get a 2017 style breakout, like Jackus is insinuating, we're probably trading a lot higher than we would if we trade a 2020 cycle.
Yeah.
Mike T says TA doesn't explain impulsive moves up or down. News related catalysts do, but obviously need to be positioned before they happen. Do you guys want to tackle that, or should I?
Wrong.
I know, Jackus, you want to tackle it. We'll let you.
Jackus, cook for him. He's
I do
hungry.
not need to. I do not need to convince anyone, right? If you want to do yourself a disservice, then do it. I'm, I always say I'm at a point of my life where, like, if you tell me 2 + 2 = 5, I'm happy for you. Enjoy it. But
That's not true. Yeah, you're very opinionated, Jackus. That's just not true. I know you care.
Sometimes, but like most of the time nowadays, I just laugh. Like I'm just like, oh, do what you want. I'm here for those.
So, Mike, let me tell you
want
this.
to learn.
Bro. Let me tell you this. TA doesn't always work, but it works more than it does not. And it should be used in confluence with other things, right? There's not like one secret formula. The secret formula is screen time and experience. That's the only way you reach mastery in trading, is literally just you become like in sync with the chart and the cycles and what's happened in the past. It's like a modification to your subconscious, right? You begin to feel it, and you have to use all these different tools at your disposal. I will tell you that the amount of time that I've been trading markets, how news events and catalysts always seem to align perfectly with the chart, is beyond suspicious. Let me give you a prime example of this. Okay. Recently, Pepe just broke out aggressively, like right here. Okay. Why I was so bullish on Pepe was because of the Pepe dominance chart. We were looking at it right here. So right as Pepe dominance is about to break out against the broader market and gain market share, it gets a Coinbase listing, which is a news catalyst, right as it's about to break out. I know we could point to this one and just go, oh, that's only one example. But I've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of examples of news catalysts dropping right at resistance or right at support. right? So there's a couple of ways to approach it. You could be like, oh, it's all like a giant conspiracy. It's all manipulation. It's all like a script. Some people believe that. You could dumb it down and just be like, it's coincidence. But I would say, in my experience, not all the time, but more times than not, the news is somehow in the chart, which Jackus was saying earlier that, charts are really just it's just a visualization of human psychology and mindset and news, right? It's like you can look at the chart and I'll tell you the news. Oh, it looks like we're about to get bullish news. Something is happening because somebody always knows the news before it leaks. There's always an insider. So I think it's not a one size fits all, and it's not a guarantee that works every time. But I would say more times than not, in my experience, the news and the random catalysts are not in fact so random because somebody always knows and somebody's always positioning ahead of it.
This is usually how exactly normie people think, like that things are news driven, but it's vice versa. News are released right on time when they are supposed to, and then the price follows them. It's not vice versa. It's not that news drive the price. It's actually insiders. It's actually whales that position ahead, and then they use news to let normies buy upon those news to send the price higher. You can, by the way, you can spot impulsive moves based on TA, especially during ranges, like the recent impulsive move we are seeing on BTC. Well, we've been ranging for 8 months, and whenever you get a range, that's lots of energy accumulated, and you can expect a impulsive move from that region. It was the same in 25K to 31K region and so forth. And yeah, nothing is 100%. TA isn't 100%. And the readability of it is depends on the skill of the guy. But that's the same with fundamentals. You have, thousands of peoples out there who will claim something, because of CPI is this, and then unemployment that, and this guy said this and that, and you have actually very few people who can read it, who can read the value investing, but most people don't, and that goes the same with TA. And it really depends to what degree you are able to do it.
Well said.
Show me the chart. I'll tell you the news.
Yeah, no,
Classic
I
stuff.
agree with Louis. I mean, I think about in August, for example, like we kind of saw some proxies for risk perking up, namely TLT and equity volatility, and then Japan blew itself up. But like those primers were kind of already there. It's kind of like a dick thing to say, like, oh yeah, in hindsight, it should have been obvious that this happened, but you always have kind of signals, even if it's not explicitly communicating what the news is going to be. You always have signs that you can look back on and you're like, well, damn, that should have been more obvious in hindsight. And it's usually correlated with the charts, right? Like Bitcoin ran into resistance, 3 drive at the previous highs, rejected from supply, and started to keel over. The weakness was a lot more pronounced in ETH. That there were signs from the chart that ended up corresponding with news, but they were there a little bit ahead of time.
Max, did you just make up the 1.25?
I was just playing around with it. Yeah.
That's not real. There's no way that's real.
It's real, bro. You wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it.
Oh no. Now you guys are in trouble. See what happens here? You see what you did.
Oh no.
And you got the wrong guy doing this too, because he's
do.
greedy. He demands more likes than the rest of us. You guys messed up. I don't even know how. I mean, I feel bad for you. You're in trouble now.
Greedy.
Look at this. This is on the 1 minute time frame. Soybeans. Oh, you guys are screwed, man.
You guys got Bitcoin at 93K, and we're looking at soybeans. All right.
Yeah.
All you have to do is hit the like button, and then this stops. That's all you have to do. Look, he's not even doing TA on the chart. He's just staring at it. Ugh. Oh, look how zoomed in he is. We can't even get the full picture here. And this is... I'm not sure what to say, guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but...
Up or down?
Up or down?
I say down.
Hey, Alt Frodo, try Trump at checkout. See if there's still one left. There might be a Trump left. Discount code Trump.
What an epic code.
Yeah, I think we forgot to turn it off. So,
Well, I'm going to go turn it off right now.
Beat him to it. Go, go, go.
Can you charge soybeans against liberal dealers?
Soybeans are, in fact, liberal tears.
Mm-hmm.
kind of, you're right, Louis.
He goes, leave it on.
Can you guys imagine this? A nice parabola up to 680K Bitcoin.
Sounds good to me.
Parabola.
The parabola.
That, a parabola.
I think
Parabola.
whenever equity markets are in kind of, there will be a period, I think, over the next probably year or two where equity markets are just in like melt. I mean, not David Hunter melt up style, but like melt up mode for multiple months. Whenever that happens, you're probably seeing Bitcoin in the parabola, especially if it's like Jack has said, this is more akin to like a 2017 style cycle. And I don't think that is improbable. Like that might be more probable than a 2020 style cycle because liquidity conditions are significantly different. But I do think that inevitably we probably see liquidity flow into equities at a pretty rapid rate. And whenever that does happen, you're going to see Bitcoin trade a lot more reflexively based on that.
Guys, I'm working on a great chart for you. I'm working on a great chart for you
What are
guys
we
right
at
now.
here? What are we at? 359 with 600 people watching. All right, let's get that to 400. Also, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button.
Amen.
Subscribe to us, and we will give you alpha.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Look at this. What are we even doing here, man?
Pictographs. God, it's so dull and boring. White and gray. Ugh. Make it stop.
Oh, what is Jackus? What are you doing?
He's sending a message. It's coded.
It's coded.
This is Andy coded.
Who's the one using the Zoomer lingo now?
Guys, do us a solid. If you are watching and you are a market check enjoyer, consider hitting that like button, guys. It really does wonders for the growth of the channel. And again, we are so appreciative of you guys being here, but the unfortunate truth is that we need to get the likes up in order to grow. And it's a shame, and it's a broken system, not one that we created, but one that we have to play along with, unfortunately. The mega cap tech overlords determined very unfairly, arbitrarily, that a long time ago, the way that content gets boosted on their platforms, which we need, unfortunately, is by running up the like button, guys. Do us a solid. Hit that thumbs up button. All right, let's get to 400. We need 13 more likes and this ends, guys. Just 13 likes. That's it. You can make all this go away for 13 likes. There's 13 of you watching. Hit that button. That's it. Hit that button.
Max, Jason doesn't know. Maybe you could explain him.
Does he know?
I did just explain it.
This is a meme coin on Solana. It's called soybean.
Bruv, the BB community would be sending that one.
The There could be, honestly. I don't know.
All right, we got to 400 likes. I'm taking over.
All right.
All right, guys. Look,
Finally.
let's talk about a potential December correction here, okay? Because you guys should be familiar at this point with my famous cycles chart. This will be our roadmap as a community and as a team through the duration of this cycle. All right. According to the Bitcoin cycles chart, we should kind of ramp into at least the second week of December, and then maybe we're in for a local correction, right? Cyclically speaking. Just wanted to point this out. Thoughts?
I like that. And that kind of matches what Tommy's been talking about too, and what we mentioned. Where like I think we continue higher here before at least our first real correction here. Pain trades higher. People are waiting for that pullback. It makes sense to just continue higher, and by the time people that are waiting decide to FOMO in, then you get your pullback. So this kind of aligns with kind of where we're at and where I think we're going, and I'm sure a lot of people on the panel agree here.
I mean, imagine we did this, right? Imagine this scenario right here, and we get like a middle of December correction from like 130 down to like 103.
Oh my god, dude! People would say that it is over, man.
There'd be some like economic something,
Mhm.
it'd be some report, it'd be something, right?
Probably some like USD JPY carry fears again, because that's probably not going away.
Yeah, and we just do something like this, and then through Q1 we ramp to like 250K or something like that. I mean, we're splitting the previous two cycles so far. So
I could see a scenario where it takes us a little bit longer to chew through that. I mean, we've talked a lot about the supply between all-time highs and 110K. It could take us a minute to chew through that. I could see that play out. So we do kind of follow this scenario, Max, where we trade higher into probably mid-December, correct either the back half of December or at some point in January, and then we start ramping again. I could see that, but there is a lot of supply here. We should make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like that supply exists in Bitcoin, but I do think it's just a matter of if and when, or it's just a matter of when, not really an if. What turbulent? If you're on leverage, that's a concern for you. If you're in spot holding since the range, you're probably not really that concerned about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to make people regret not selling end of year, right? Because you're going to top in a few weeks and then pull back into Jan 1. And everybody, including me, who's like, oh, I don't want to sell in 24 because I don't want to pay taxes, in April. It's going to be like, oh, damn, I should have just taken the hit. And then it's just going to go vertical.
I could definitely.
Yeah.
Apparently, Coinbase is delisting wrap Bitcoin. That's not a surprise. They are delisting,
right?
They are delisting wrapped Bitcoin.
Why?
Because of this guy right here.
Is excellent.
That's not good.
Yeah,
that's really bad.
You brought out Justin's son. Great job.
Dude, give me that 140K Bitcoin. It's going to be so fun to see a 6-figure Bitcoin. I can't wait. We're so close.
Oh, sit on your hands mode.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on your hands.
I've been sitting on my hands for a long time, Louis.
Longer.
We've been sitting on our hands for like a year, man. Jeez.
Those hands are hurting.
Those hands are hurting, man. We got another year of it too, really.
It's It's all right. The longer it takes, I think the healthier.
I think Warren Buffett would be proud of us for doing nothing.
Dude, he sold his Apple stock.
Well, I know nowadays he wouldn't be. He's he's turned into a Jeet, of course.
Warren Buffett's a
Tucker,
G.
what was your tweet? It was like, I knew Buffett was washed when he G'd Apple or something.
Yeah, he's washed, dude.
He is actually playing the long game. He played, I studied it, and he played it exactly the same during the dot-com bubble. So he was selling in 1990 and during the year 2000. And he sold early, and then he saw literally everyone outperform him for like a year. Like everyone was genius.
Mm-hmm.
And then the market started to drop during the dot-com bubble, and he had so much liquidity and scooped it all up. And his portfolio was basically pretty much up only, even during the dot-com bubble, while most guys basically liquidated their portfolio. And I think he's kind of doing the same right now, but his liquidity is so big that he just has to start selling years early.
Mm-hmm.
The distributor.
Seriously, he is.
It's time, Tommy.
All right, guys. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you guys for getting us to over 400 likes live. That is over 1,000 likes live on stream through Tuesday, through 2 days of the week. The whole like Tuesday and 2 days of the week kind of threw me off. But regardless, guys, shout out to you once again as an audience for showing up and hitting the like and doing your part to make sure that we can continue to make these streams for you all. Additionally, though, we have some products to offer you all, namely your go-to tool for the cycle, right? Which is the BB terminal. We've talked a lot about it. We've shown you some examples on this show today. We've shown more over the last few weeks. So if you're still catching up to or from previous streams, make sure to check those out. We give live walkthroughs of what the BB terminal has to offer. But by the end of the cycle, this will be your go-to tool, right? Whether or not you are an active trader using derivatives to trade, whether or not you are an investor using the DCA calculator, and soon whether or not you are a DGen using soon our DGen tab. I'm really excited about that one, guys, and I think you all will be as well. There is going to be a major utility for you to use this tool for over the next probably a few months to a year. So, and beyond that as well, right?
Sorry to interrupt, Tommy.
Yes,
I saw a question, and I know Ed mentioned it earlier, but apparently the next 24 hours, according to the head dev, we will have crypto payments back up on the website. I got
all right.
that this morning, so I saw someone ask. So,
because we're nice guys, we give you the ability to pay for your go-to tool with crypto. We also give you the ability to pay for our Discord through crypto and even buy them together, right? So you can get your go-to tool, you can get your go-to community, you can get your go-to alpha, all at discounted rates, and you can pay in crypto, guys. I mean, I can't really think of things much better than that. But to talk about our Discord a little bit more, Max talks about all the time how important it is to have that community that you can go back to and continue to bounce ideas off of, continue to trade with. This is a very ruthless and difficult space. So I cannot shout out our community and the BB Discord enough for you guys. Additionally to that, we spend about 4 or 5 hours every single day with our subscribers, so they get our intimate thoughts on the market as it happens, both before New York close and after New York close. So make sure to check that out, guys. Like Louis was just saying, soon we will have crypto payments available for these products as well. Of course, don't forget the BB Academy, guys. You are running out of time to hone your educational base or reach trading level mastery before this market really takes off and enters up only mode. You're not going to want to be sitting there while the market is just going straight up in a straight line wondering, how do I approach this? What do I do next? Well, we have the answers for you in BB Academy, how we approach the market, how we trade the market from a lot of different individuals who have done very well in this market. So I think that's pretty invaluable distinction from our course versus others, is that you get to learn from so many different traders rather than just one style. Of course, we also have an SEC registered hedge fund, guys. That is BB Wealth Management. So maybe you are interested in having the team manage some or all of your money for you. Obviously, this is a very difficult market, as the last year has shown us. But our fund operates in a way that likes to take advantage of crypto's asymmetric history for upside returns when it's easy, and also balancing the financial risk posed in any market when it is not. But yeah, guys, check that out if you're interested in becoming an accredited investor or LP. We have information linked on all of these things in the description of this video. If you enjoyed Market Check today, we'll be back for another episode tomorrow around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are live Monday through Friday whenever the New York Stock Exchange is open. Of course, before you log off today, make sure to tune in for King Wabi's show, Market Talk, that is hosted through the Because Bitcoin Twitter account. So make sure to stay following and subscribe.
Actually, Tommy, today, sorry, we're running the Mega Space today. The Tuesday Mega Space. So that'll be at 1:30 Eastern.
We've got the Tuesday Mega Space with Andy and Wolf at you said 1:30 Eastern?
1:30 EST.
At 1:30 EST. So make sure to be there, especially if you are a boys club enthusiast. Lots of great discussions will be had. But normally check out Market Talk with King Wabi. That is hosted as well through our Because Bitcoin Twitter account. Also make sure to give Wabi a follow as well. But that's it from us, guys. Like Max said, make sure to tune in for that space here in about 2 or 3 hours. But until tomorrow, as always, guys, thank you again and stay safe.